well, I'm going to be making this video on my life and how I'm getting through it, and yeah, hopefully it'll help some people who are going through things similar to me. I don't know, I'm bad at explaining things, so bear with me. Okay, well, when my mom was pregnant with me, she was 18 when she got pregnant with me. My dad was 18, I think. Anyway, so yeah, my mom got pregnant, and they were sort of forced to get married, because my mom was pregnant. So that right there didn't help at all. But so yeah, my mom and my dad stayed together, obviously, and my dad's a really strict and controlling guy, and he's pretty scary. And sorry, my hair, it's crazy. So yeah, he's a scary guy. So he would abuse my mom, like hit her and bruise her, a lot of stuff like that. And so obviously my mom was scared of her. And so I believe when my mom was pregnant with me, she left my dad, and then they got back together. And then I was born. I grew up. I grew up watching them fight all the time. It was bad. Like, it was pretty bad. And it sucked. Like, I didn't want to, I was a little kid. I didn't know what to do when, nothing I could do about it. But when I was a kid, my parents split up 2 more times. And when I was 9 years old, I was in 4th grade, they got divorced. And that was, like, I was expecting it, and honestly, I was kind of happy inside because they wouldn't be together anymore. I wouldn't have to see them fight all the time. But I mean, I was also sad. Like, no kid wants their parents to get divorced and everything like that. So yeah, it was pretty hard. But like in the beginning, like when they first got divorced, it was pretty cool, I guess. Like, I lived with my mom, like we moved in with my grandparents, and I saw my dad sometimes, like he would pick me up and take me out to dinner or go shopping or do something fun like that, and then he'd bring me back, like no problem. And so it was really cool, and like I was happy to see him and everything, and which was very rare because I was always so scared of my dad. And then, my mom was doing everything on her own, so she filed for child support. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna fight for custody, and like I'm gonna take you to court, and oh, I want her half the week now and everything. So I was like, are you serious? So yeah, then I found out about that. It sucked. Like, it was January 3rd, day before 4th of July, and I was at my aunt's house, and my mom came to drop off some clothes for the next day because I was spending the night, and she told my aunt, and I didn't understand. I was like, wait, he's gonna fight for custody? What does that mean? And they told me, and I just started crying. Like, I couldn't handle it. And so yeah, I was like really scared. And so starting a little bit after that, I went to my dad's like half the week, which was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and just like half of Thursday. And I hated it. I always cried before I went over, and I was so scared, and I don't know, I just didn't have a good relationship with him. And after a while, he started getting caught up in work, and I only do that because he would have me go with my grandma, his mom, and stay with her, which I was fine with, way better than staying with him. But he would like say, "Oh, I'm at work," when really he was with one of his girlfriends. He always like brought me around other girls, like a bunch of his girlfriends, and I was a little kid. I was so confused. I was like, get close to this girl, and then not even that long after that, he would bring another girl, and I'd be like, what? So it kind of sucked. Don't do that. Don't bring a bunch of people in a little kid's life and then take them out. Just saying, sucks. So yeah, then that happened. It was that schedule for 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, about 3 years, around there. And you know, in between there was a bunch of drama with my parents and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna get into every fight because that'd be like long video. So yeah, I was with my grandma a lot, so I kind of liked that because I didn't want to be with him. Yeah, I was really scared of him. He he would like, if he found out that I had bad grades, like, no, I'm just kidding, I shouldn't do that. He didn't hit me, but I was like in really big trouble, and he like overreacted a lot about it, so it was pretty scary. And then when I was in 7th grade, he he proposed to this girl, and I mean they're married now, and so yeah, I lived with them. Like they bought a house and everything, and I lived with them for the summer. Still on the same schedule. Like I saw him, and then I went to my mom. But like I didn't like it, obviously. So I at the end of summer in 2013, I he called me, right? He called me, and he like somehow he found out that I wanted to live with my mom and not with him. And so he got like super offended by it, and he was like yelling at me, and I was like, okay, I don't want you to be yelling at me. And he was like, oh, I'm not, blah blah blah. And I was like, really? And my mom was sitting next to me, and she was like, just tell him how you feel, because I was always scared. I never told him what I wanted to say, how I felt, because I was scared. So she was like, just tell him. And so finally I told him, you know what, Dad, I don't like how you treat me. I want to be a mom, and I just, kept telling him. And that was on a Sunday night. And then so the next day was Monday, and I would go with my grandma. So she picked me up, and she gave me a weird look, and I was like, okay. And then she wouldn't talk to me, and we were almost to her house, and I was like, is everything okay? And she was like, your dad told me what happened, and I was like, oh, so that's what this is about. And she was like, I can't believe you would choose them, blah blah. And I was just like, alright, whatever, like I don't want to talk about it, you know? So, we got to her house, and I was with her like the whole time that I was supposed to be with my dad. So yeah, she like wouldn't talk to me, and when she did, she'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe you chose them," blah blah blah, and she was like yelling at me, and I was like, "Who are you? You never yell at me." And so I just locked myself in my room like the whole time I was there, and like I cried a lot because I was like, "What do I do?" And so I called my mom, and she was like, "You know, you're old enough. you can make a decision on where you want to be. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave. And then they kept yelling at me, and I called her back. I was like, after this week, I'm not coming back. And she was like, okay. And so, yeah, the third day, on Wednesday, she actually talked to me, and she, like, did stuff with me, so that was pretty cool. And then my aunt, who I was, like, really close with, her and her fiance came over for dinner. And then when it was time to say bye, it was like really hard for me because I was so close to her for so long. So that was a really hard goodbye. And um and then right after, like, when they left, my grandma started treating me like crap again. And so I went in the bathroom and I was like screaming and crying and everything. And I was taking a shower and I was screaming and crying. I just couldn't wait to get home. I just wanted to get home. And so the next day, I went home, and saying goodbye to my grandma was very hard because I was so close to her. She was one of the people that raised me. Um, so, and then I get into my grandparents' house, and I'm crying, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just lost half my family because, like, not going with my dad meant I can't see any of his family." So I walk in, I'm crying, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just lost half my family." And they're like, "Oh, that's it?" Yeah, that's it. Like, that's a big deal. And like, they just like gave me a hug, said, "Oh, it's okay," and then that's it. I was like, you're kidding me, right? And so they pretty much showed like no sympathy. Like, they didn't understand how hard it was for me to leave my family. Like, that was one of the hardest decisions in my life. But so yeah, and then a couple weeks later, or like a week later, I started 8th grade, and that, like, it was hard for me to like focus in school because all I could think about was them, and I couldn't get them off my mind or anything, so I couldn't focus, and my grades were like really bad. I had by the end of the school year, I had straight F's. My GPA was 0.0, and so that was really bad, and that stays on my record, and that could be really bad for my future for college. So yeah, um, and then I started seeing a counselor. Like, I always saw my at school counselor, but my mom took me to like this therapist counselor person. Um, so I started seeing her, and then one day she would call my mom in, and she was like, "You need to take her to the doctor. I think she might be depressed." Like, I needed antidepressants, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" And so yeah, I showed the signs, like, my eating habits, my sleeping habits, um, like my eating habits. I would, like, I wouldn't be hungry, and like I wouldn't eat, or I would eat like a lot, like I could not stop eating. So, and then my sleeping habits, I couldn't sleep. I had a very hard time sleeping, or um, if I do sleep, I wake up like really, really tired. Like, it felt like I had no sleep at all. Um, Thoughts of suicide and thoughts of hurting myself. So that, and just being sad. So I went to the doctor, and my doctor was like, "Okay, so tell me what's happening." And right away, I started crying. And she was like, "Whoa, you really are depressed." And I was like, "Yeah." And so yeah, by the end, like, my mom didn't want me to take meds, but she was like, "Alright, let's try it." So ever since, mm, maybe around October-ish, I don't know, somewhere around that, in 2013, I've been taking antidepressants, and yeah. So And a few months after that, I cut myself, and I cut myself on a Sunday night, and then the next morning, Monday morning, I cut myself again. And I went to school, and I was freaking out. Like, I didn't know what to do. It was my first time cutting, and I was just like guilt. It was killing me. And we were taking tests, and I couldn't focus on my test. So, um, so I went up to my teacher, and I was like, "Hey, can we go in the hall? I need to tell you something." And she was like, "No, I need to watch the kids." And I was like, "Okay." Well, and then I rolled up my sleeve, and I was like, And she was like, "Oh, you cut yourself. Okay, well, I'm gonna send you to the office." So I went to the office, and I was crying, and my counselor was busy, so I sat in the hallway, and then one of the other counselors saw me through a window, like from her office, and she was talking to other students, but then like she saw me and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Nope." And so she sent the boys out, and she called me in, and I told her, and then when my counselor was like free, I went to him and I told him, and he called my mom. My mom, like she was at work, and so they called her at work and told her, and I felt bad because like no mom wants to be like all working and then gets interrupted, and is told that your child cut themselves. So like I felt bad, but um, so that happened, and so my mom took me to the doctors like right after that, and they like upped my prescriptions, and about a week later, yeah, it was a week later. I started this program at Loma Linda Behavioral Medical Center place, and it's this 2-week program, and it's like a school type of thing, and it's an all-day thing, and they do like a bunch of like therapy and everything, and we have like an hour of school, and like they give you food and everything. That was really cool, and so yeah, I graduated from that a couple days early, and then a week later I was supposed to start this new program, and it's called a Shield. It's like a 4-month program, and then I told my mom, I was like, "Hey, I can't promise anything, that I'm not gonna do anything to myself. Not and like when you're asleep, I can't promise that I'm not gonna go do something." And so like I was feeling like really suicidal and everything, and uh, so sorry. So her and my grandma took me to the ER in Loma Linda, and I waited in the ER for like 5 hours, like just in the waiting room for like 5 hours. It was so exhausting, and um, and and then finally I got a room, and then like it took 2 hours for them to get an ambulance, and an ambulance had to take me to the mental hospital, and that was a really scary situation. Like I've never been in an ambulance before, and I was like getting freaked out and everything. And when we got to the hospital, um, I had to be rolled away from my mom and my grandma, and that was like super hard because like I didn't want to go to the mental hospital, but I had to. Like they were making me, so I was being rolled away, and like I wanted to scream, but I couldn't get it out. And so, yeah, like, it was like 3 in the morning, something like that. Like, once they, like, got me all, like, you know, in the ambulance, took me to the hospital, out of the ambulance, blah blah blah. So, and then they did all of the paperwork, I had to check my whole body, take my picture, all that stuff. It was 4 a.m. So, I finally got to go to bed, and yeah, I was there in the mental hospital for like 5 days, but it seemed like a month. It went by so slow. Oh my god, like I hated being there. Every time like the visiting hours ended, I would be like crying. I would like when it was like I like was hugging my mom and I wouldn't let go. And when they made me let go, I ran to my room on my bed and I was crying. Like I didn't want to be there. I hated it so much. And like I would like punch the walls and everything. Like I hated it there. It sucked. And like since then, like a few times my mom was like threatening to take me back, and I'll be like, no, you can't take me back, no. Um, but yeah, when I got out of there, I started going to Shield again, and at first, like I hated it. I hated having to go there like 2 or 3 times a week for stupid group therapy. But you know what? Like in the end, after the 4 months, it really helped. Like, um, so if you ever like have to go to therapy or group therapy, one-on-one, anything like that, and like you don't want to, like you're like, oh, this isn't gonna help me, blah blah blah. Just please keep going because it does help. I promise it helps. Just give it time, and in the end, you'll realize that it helped. Um. So yeah, I graduated from that, and it was like a big thing. And it was pretty cool. Like, my family took me out to dinner and everything. It's pretty cool, man. And hold on, I'm out of breath. That's a lot of talking. um, so yeah, I'm on another prescription too. It's like a mood stabilizer type of thing, and it helps my mood and eating and sleeping and a lot of that. So I'm on 2 medications now. I'm 14 years old now. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still a cutter. I'm still suicidal. In the past, I've attempted suicide a few times by like OD and stuff like that. Um, whoa. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not 100% better yet. But, you know, I think if you're going through something, just give it time and don't give up. Because I wanted to give up so many times since 5th grade. And, I'm glad I didn't. I'm really glad I didn't. I learned so many new coping skills in therapy and everything. And if there's something important to you, something or somebody, um, make that be like your motivation to not give up. My motivation is my little cousins. I'm an only child, and my little cousins, they're 8, 5, 3, 1, 1, and one's about to be born. Um, they're like the best things that ever happened to me. They're the main reason why I'm still alive. And like I don't want them to remember me as like the big cousin who killed herself or something like that. You know, like I want to be a good example, and they're my everything. I love them so much, and that's my main motivation. Um. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie either. I'm still not doing good in school, but I'm trying. I really want a good future. I want to go to college. You know. Um. So yeah, I didn't really get to say like I wanted to say more in this video, but I'm already almost at 30 minutes. So yeah. Also, this is my first video, and so let's see how this does. Hopefully it gets a lot of likes and views. And then I'll make more. But yeah, just please, if you're offered the help, take it. I don't care if that sounded mean. If you don't want it, you're like, oh no, like I'm done with life. I don't want to get better. You know, deep inside, deep down, you want to get better. So if you're offered the help, or go find help. There's so many. There's that one bunch of like hotlines you could call, like suicide or whatever. You can message me, your family, friends, brother or sister, whatever. Just, you're not alone. Even if you think you are, you're not. There are so many people in this world that really care about you and love you. You're worth it. So please stay strong. So share this video with your friends and comment down below. I love you all, even though I have no subscribers, but yeah, bye.